Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Listen and grow as Del questions the status quo, encourages you to think differently, and empowers you to make a better life. Get ready as Del challenges core beliefs, seeks the truth, and reveals the roadmap to the lifestyle you really want. And now your host, multi-millionaire, national award-winning investor, CEO and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, Del Walmsley.
Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. My name is Al Gordon, proudly sitting in for Del today because Del is busy. He's giving the keynote address at our expo event. So why aren't you here? Why aren't you here in Irving, Texas, listening to Del? Why are you listening to me on the radio? Oh, you couldn't get off work, or you didn't know about it, or some other reason? Okay, not a problem. I have the ability to help you out. Now, I can't get you to the Irving Convention Center at Los Colinas in Irving, Texas, instantaneously. I don't have a transporter. I don't have anything that, could get you from point A to point B in zero amount of time. We haven't invented that technology yet. But what I can do for you is I can give you a promo code, which is free, FREE, and tell you to text that promo code to 88007. So text the promo code free to 88007. So a lot of you are looking at the radio going, well, that's fine. Why do you want me to do this? Why am I texting this code to 88007? All right, here's why you're texting free to 88007. Because the expo is just getting started. We literally are just getting started. Today is what I would consider the kickoff day. Now, you've missed a couple of hours of education. Okay, you can't go back and make that educational opportunity up, unless, of course, you're a Lifestyles Unlimited member, in which case chances are the education that you missed was recorded and it will be posted on our portal, so you'll be able to look at it after the expo, okay? But if you're not a Lifestyles Unlimited member, there's no access for you because the portal is a membership benefit of being a Lifestyles Unlimited member. Now, that free pass, that gets you down here to the expo, and that gets you in the door for free. It doesn't cost you anything to get in the doors, but it's going to cost you a couple coins to get down here to the Irving Convention Center, Los Colinas, in Irving, Texas. Now, you're probably going, where is that? Irving, Texas. I mean, I've never heard of Irving, Texas. Well, I've heard of Irving, Texas, because there's a football team that I love to hate that's based out of Irving, Texas. You might have heard of them. They're called the Dallas Cowboys. They're the franchise for the city of Dallas. I mean, effectively for the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area. And they play in Irving, Texas. Now, Irving, Texas is conveniently located right next to Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport and Love Field. So no matter which airline you would want to fly to get here to Irving, Texas, they're both real convenient. You can catch an Uber and come right over to the convention center once you land. And that's what I suggest you do. You also might want to consider getting a hotel room. Yeah, you should consider getting a hotel room. Now, ironically, I checked the price of flights just before I came on the air, and I'm still seeing that you can fly from the west coast of the United States of America. That would be a place called California. Yeah, I specifically looked up the Bay Area, and the reason I looked up the Bay Area is because we have a ton of Lifestyles Unlimited members that live in the Bay Area of California that haven't gotten here to Expo yet. They've been busy in their tech world, and I'm here to tell those members that you can still get on a plane and get out here and be a part of Expo. You will have missed a couple of classes, not a problem. At the end of the day, you may have missed Del's keynote address, but you can pick up the keynote address because I know for a fact it's being recorded. It will be available to you on the portal. Now, you may miss the super panels that we're going to have after Del speaks. Those are coming up later on today. We're going to have a super panel that is specifically the super women of real estate. You're going to hear from the movers, the shakers in the real estate world, and these are all women, not men. Now, the reason this is so cool is because real estate tends to be a male-dominated industry. It is one of those few industries that are still out there that tends to be male-dominated. But here's the neat thing about the female portion of investing as a real estate investor. Women are starting to move up the ranks. What does that mean? It means they're taking over what I would consider market share. They really are. They are becoming the movers and the shakers in the real estate investing world. And we've got some incredible movers and shakers that you need to listen to. I don't care whether you're male or female, you need to listen to what these women have to say. As a matter of fact, we have had this breakout session scheduled for the same ginormous room at the Toyota Music Pavilion. So we have basically taken over the entire pavilion, and that's where Dell is going to hold his keynote address. Afterwards, we're going to have the breakout panels, and one of those panels is going to be the super women of real estate. So we're going to be able to address everybody that's attending Expo, because the seating at the Toyota Music Pavilion is enough to handle all of us. It's pretty cool stuff, right? We're also going to have what we call our Super Passives panel. What's a Super Passives panel? A Super Passives panel is people that are passive investors in real estate. Boy, that's a lot of P words, isn't it? Okay, so what does that mean? These are people that have made a decision that they want to invest in multifamily assets, but they don't want to do any of the work. They don't want to go out and find the asset. They don't want to go out there and negotiate for the asset. They don't want to go out and go through an entitlement process or go through a escrow process with the asset. They don't want to take over the asset. They don't want to deal with problem residents because they took over an asset. They don't want to deal with the bookkeeping. They don't want to deal with collecting the rents. They don't want to deal with anything that has to do with running a real estate investor business, but they want to make money. Now, some of you are going, wow, those people, they sound like they're kind of getting over, and they're not getting over. And here's why. They are just as knowledgeable as the person that syndicated the deal to them. The difference is the syndicator does all the work. They're compensated handsomely for doing all the work. And together, the syndicator and all the passive investors tend to make money in the real estate investment. Passive investing is a modality of investing that allows you to make money in real estate investing without doing the heavy lifting of actually doing the investment. It's kind of cool, right? Okay, you do have to invest in the asset. Let me be very clear about that. But you don't have to own and operate the asset. Somebody else is doing that on your account. It's pretty cool stuff, right? All right, so there's a lot going on today. We also have a big networking event later on tonight. So depending on what your membership level is, that networking available may or may not be on the table for you. This is an event that we throw annually. We've been throwing it annually for as long as I can remember. I seem to recall somebody telling me that these have been going on for at least a dozen or so years. And the reason these came about was because the Lifestyles Unlimited community wanted an opportunity to get together as an entire community and network and educate and do the things that we do is Lifestyles Unlimited members. Now, Lifestyles Unlimited it's a national real estate investor education and mentoring company. That's all we do. We've been around since 1990. Yeah, we've been around for 34 years. We have survived everything that could have destroyed a business. We have survived all of it. And I think it positions us uniquely to advise you on how to invest correctly in real estate assets. Our founder and CEO, Del Walmsley, who's on stage right now, he founded that company 34 years ago specifically to help people like you and me with our retirement problems. You didn't know you had a retirement problem, did you? Yeah, see, I didn't know I had a retirement problem either. See, I thought that spending 27 years in the United States Army and earning a pension, that was going to get me to a place of retirement and I'd have money to live off of. I never bothered to really dig into how much money that pension would ultimately pay me. So when it came time to retire, and I was coming out of a combat zone when I retired. So you have to understand, my mind was not necessarily on retirement. My mind was on fighting the bad guys, okay? Because that's what we do in the United States Army. So I'm up against retirement. I'm coming out of a combat zone. I get retired, and then here I am sitting at Fort Living Room going, wow, I'm retired. I've got the big ticket. Man, I'm only 50 years of age and I've retired. And then I look at the paycheck and I go, wow, how am I going to live off of that? Yeah, that's exactly what went through my mind. So what happened? Well, retirement pay in the military is based off your years of service, your highest rank held for the previous or the last 3 years of your service, or I don't know. They Mickey Moused around with that rule. I think it's the highest rank held for any 3 years of your service. Whatever the mumbo jumbo is, it's just designed to make sure they're not paying you at the next promotion rate. So, like for instance, I retired as a lieutenant colonel. Okay, I was up for promotion as a colonel. Had they promoted me to colonel before I retired, I would have retired as a colonel, but my retirement pay would have been predominantly lieutenant colonel's pay because I would have only been a colonel literally for 1 day, and I would have been a lieutenant colonel I think I was lieutenant colonel for 7 years. Does that make sense? So that 7 years covers that 3 years highest rank held. Does that make sense? So they pay you an amount based on your service. So they pay me, and I still get that pension today. I never gave that pension up. I spent 27 years trying to earn that pension, and I earned it. But the problem was this. That pension pays me a percentage of the base pay that I used to receive. It pays me 0% of all the additional entitlements that I used to receive, things like housing allowance and subsistence allowance and combat pays and specialty pays and things like that. See, all those extra pays went away. So when they calculate retired pay, it's based on your years of service, your highest rank held for the highest 3 years that you held the rank, and boom, there's your formula. Well, the problem was this. I was making 3 times as much as I was making in retirement when I was working full-time for the military. I had a giant problem. I had to get back into the workforce because that's what the military taught me how to do. So I got back into the workforce and I traded time for money and I discovered Lifestyles Unlimited. And here's the neat thing about Lifestyles Unlimited. Lifestyles Unlimited is the only organization that I came across. And trust me, I was looking for an organization to help me because I failed in retirement. I failed. I was a colossal failure. I didn't do it right. And I paid the price by having to go back into the workforce. I had to stop being retired because I could not afford to be retired. I did not have enough income coming into my household. The only thing that I had been taught to do by the military was to go back into the workforce. And that's what I did. And then Lifestyles Unlimited comes along and they changed the paradigm of my life. They completely changed that paradigm. And they teach me information that nobody else would teach me. And here's the point I want to make. We have that kind of information being shared right now in the building that I'm in. That information is being shared with all of the members of Lifestyles Unlimited that have been able to get to the Expo event. Del Walmsley is on stage, pouring his heart out, telling you about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the real estate markets. He's telling you how 2024 has been, what has really gone on in the markets in 2024. And then he's going to transition into what you need to know for 2025 and the years beyond. He is giving a holistic, one over the world look at real estate investing, but not all forms of real estate investing, only the forms of real estate investing that have to do with residential income producing assets. Those are just big fancy words for multifamily apartment communities and single family houses. That's all we invest in at Lifestyles Unlimited. And we learned during the pandemic that was the only place we really needed to be invested, because the pandemic taught us one thing very, very clearly. Everybody needs a place to live. And people are willing to pay up to 1/3, sometimes even more, of their disposable income to rent a place to live. And the other thing that we know is that those people that are looking for places to live, they see the whole gamut. They see really nice, clean places, and they see really nasty, dirty, ugly, broken down places. And ironically, the landlords on those two types of places, they're asking the same amount for rent. It's really a weird thing. So one of the things that I learned at Lifestyles Unlimited was that my customer, My customer is looking for clean, functional workforce housing. So what I need to do as a real estate investor is I need to make sure my product is clean, functional workforce housing. Well, the neat thing about Lifestyles Unlimited, that's exactly what they teach you how to do. They teach you how to find, acquire, remediate, put back into service properties that at one time were not clean and functional, but you made them so. You made them clean and functional for a demographic that we call the workforce sector of our economy. And those people are very happy to live in the types of properties that we create. And here's why. It's a nice place to live. Who doesn't want to live in a nice place to live? Hey, when we come back from the break, I forgot I was going to tell you about the classes coming up tomorrow. Let me tell you about those. In the meantime, text the word FREE to 88007 to get your free tickets.
Teaching you with a roadmap to creating the lifestyle you really want. Keep listening. The Del Walmsley Radio Show returns in moments.
Del Walmsley interviews Chad and Lisa.
This property, for you to have done what you've done, won the award, changed it around, done all the rehab, has got to be worth a lot more.
We purchased it for $8.275, and it's worth $19 million now. So
Wait, whoa. That is incredible. I can see why you won an award, and that's great.
Lifestyles Unlimited. Over 33 years teaching the real estate retirement roadmap. Text the word radio to 88007 for a $297 membership. Save $443 off the regular price. Text radio to 88007.
You're hearing the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Want more life-changing knowledge? Access our podcast and listen on demand at lifestylesunlimited.com under the radio tab. Now your host, Del Walmsley.
Welcome back to the second half of the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. My name is Al Gordon. I am proudly sitting in for Del because Del can't be sitting here right now because he's on stage. We're having our Wealth and Passive Income Expo, and Del is on stage in front of 5,000 of our Lifestyles Unlimited member community, as well as people like you who are not yet members of Lifestyles Unlimited. They're peppered around throughout the grouping of people in the Toyota Music Pavilion. So they're there to receive the State of the Union Address. That's what we call it. We call it the State of the Union Address. It's an opportunity for Del to address all of us at once and to share with us information that is strong on his mind and heavy on his heart. And he opens up and shares information with us that nobody else has the ability to share. The guy's been doing real estate investing since he was in his early 30s. He's 67 years of age now. You do the math. Go ahead, do the math. 37 years of experience as a real estate investor. Do you think you can learn something from somebody who has 37 years of experience doing something extremely well? I think you can. And I know that those people sitting in the Toyota Music Pavilion are just soaking in the information that Del is sharing with them. But what about us? What about you and I? Well, you are not here. I'm here. Now, I'm going to miss the keynote address, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I actually had an opportunity to sit in on the dress rehearsal, so I know exactly what he's going to say because I got to hear him rehearse it. I know exactly what's being talked about. But what about you? What about you getting that information? How do you get that information? Well, what's going to happen is that information is being recorded, and that information is going to be transferred onto our portal system. And you're sitting there going, that's all fine and dandy, Al, but I think that portal system, isn't that proprietary information for you guys at Lifestyles Unlimited? Yeah, it is technically proprietary, and yeah, you have to be a Lifestyles Unlimited member to view it. What's the problem? Well, you're thinking, I'm not a Lifestyles Unlimited member. How is it that I would get access to the information by not being a Lifestyles Unlimited member? And there's the conundrum. You can't. You can't. But let me share this with you. You can still get here to the Irving Convention Center today. Some of you are within like an hour's drive of my voice. Some of you are within an hour or two's flight of my voice. You can still get here and you can still take advantage of all of the educational and networking opportunities that we're making available to our members tomorrow. And here's the neat thing about it. We're not going to charge you entrance. We're going to allow you to get in for free. Now, you do have to do one thing to get that free ticket. You have to text the word free to 88007. That's free to 88007. That will put things in motion that will get you your free ticket. And then while you're here, if you decide you want to become a Lifestyles Unlimited member, I mean, you're essentially here as our guest. You get to do the things that Lifestyles Unlimited members do as our guest. And then after you spend an entire day being educated and networking and doing all the things that a Lifestyles Unlimited member does, we're still going to give you an opportunity to become a member of Lifestyles Unlimited. So you're going to get access to that Keynote address. It's still going to be there available to you because it's going to take us a day or two to actually edit the thing and get it posted on our educational website. Pretty cool stuff, right? All right, so text free to 88007. Now, what I want to do for the rest of the show is I want to give you some insight as to the type of classes that we're offering to everybody that's attending. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the name of the class. I'm going to tell you who the intended audience is. I'll let you know who the presenter is, and then I'll give you a description of the class. It gives you an idea of what we're talking about, and some of this information might be information that you could use. It may stimulate you to get you down here. That's what I want you to do, is I want you to get down here. Even though you've missed this morning's stuff, that doesn't mean you're going to miss the rest of what we have to offer you. You just have to get here, and you have to text free to 88007. All right, there's a class that we're going to do. It's for beginner investors and for single-family investors. The title of the class is called 5 Single-Family Loan Products Every Successful Investor Should Know. It's being presented by Carrie Donham and Sean Riley. They're from a firm called Capital Concepts. They're a Lifestyles Unlimited vendor. They're sponsoring the Expo event. And here's what the class is going to talk about. It's going to teach you the 5 loan products available in today's market for single-family investment properties. And here's the thing. It's going to teach you the misconceptions of each product and how to pick the right one for your particular transaction. There are 5 different loan products out there that you don't know anything about. And you know what Carrie and Sean are going to do? They're going to fill in the blanks for you. They're going to cover all 5 of those different loan products and who those loan products are best suited for. I guarantee you fall into one of those 5 categories. Pretty cool stuff, right? What about this one? Wow, this one's going to be a hurt your head class. This is designed for multifamily investors. And the title of the class is Tax Strategies to Maximize the Return on Investment on Multifamily Real Estate. It's being taught by Heidi Henderson from Engineered Tax Services. They are a Lifestyles Unlimited vendor. They're an Expo sponsor. And what they're going to do in the class is discuss multiple tax incentives that apply to real estate, including something called accelerated depreciation, grant funding, and energy efficient building initiatives. And they're also going to cover something called the 1031 exchange, which is a great way for you to defer all taxes on your real estate assets for the entire life of the asset and your life. The government allows you to do that, and you pay no taxes in doing so. It's pretty cool. They're going to cover all that stuff. You can still get here today to the Irving Convention Center in Irving, Texas, which is located just a quick Uber ride away from Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport and also Love Field. I know that the hotels in the general area still have some rooms available, so you've got a place to stay. And you know, the worst case scenario, let's say you have to get a room 2 miles away. Just catch an Uber, right? How hard is that? It's not hard at all. Stop overthinking it. What you've got to do is you've got to get here, because tomorrow we still have a good solid 6 hours of planned educational events. 6 solid hours of educational events designed to help you as a real estate investor or any type of investor. I'll be honest with you, the classes that we offer can help you in many different aspects of your life. Now, here's a class that we're going to offer. It's a class for everybody. It's designed for the multifamily investor, the passive investor, the beginning investor, and the single-family investor. It's entitled Estate Planning Strategies for Real Estate Investors. It is taught by Jasmine Dodson of the Dodson Legal Group, and she's going to talk about the fundamentals of estate planning and how the various documents and strategies can help avoid probate and protect your assets for the benefit of your loved ones. What they're talking about is transferring your wealth from you to your loved ones when you pass away and avoiding all of the taxes that could be associated with you doing it incorrectly. They're going to break it all down for you. They're going to spend an hour and 15 minutes going over that topic, and that is a big topic. And here's the neat thing. They're tailoring the strategies specifically to real estate investors, not stock investors, because stock investors have their own issues. Real estate investors, because of the types of assets that we invest in, i.e. real estate, come with their own inherent challenges. So when you're a real estate investor and you die and your properties go to probate, all of your money, all of your wealth kind of winds up in the court system. It goes to the attorneys. It goes to the court system. It doesn't go to the people you intend for that money to go to. Dodson Legal Group is telling you how to avoid that. It's worth the price of admission, which, by the way, is free when you text free to 88007. Another class that is designed specifically for multifamily investors, but could have benefit for the other classes of investors that attend the Expo event, is a class entitled Navigating the Debt Market. Now, this is a class that's being provided by Sean Gibbons, Will Gibbons, and Robert Siddall, and they're a part of the Colliers Gibbons Debt and Structured Finance team. So what are they talking about? What is this Navigating the Debt Market all about? Well, Colliers will provide an overview of the debt market today and what the loan process entails from the lender requirements to programs and borrower needs. Yeah, how many of you followed what I said there? I know it's kind of a challenging topic, right? But here's the point I want to make. If you're a Lifestyles Unlimited member, everything that I just said is crystal clear to you. You understand exactly what the Colliers team is going to provide to us as Lifestyles Unlimited members. Because you don't understand it, that tells me you need some education. Now, I'm not picking on you. I'm not poking you in the chest. I'm just saying that if you didn't understand it, you just need some education so that you can understand it. It's part of the reason you need to get up here to the Irving Convention Center today so that you can go through a class like this one tomorrow, whether you want to go through this class or not. Now, there's a really neat thing about this particular class. Remember I told you earlier that some of the classes are being recorded? Well, this is one of those classes that's being recorded. So if you're unable to attend, or there's another class you want to attend and it's competing with this class, you go to the other class because you'll be able to pick this class up because it's going to be posted on our portal, on our education portal. Pretty cool stuff, right? Here's a class that I think everybody should at least check out. And it's really designed for single family and beginner investors. But this class is taught by our own Isaac Martinez, who is a Lifestyles Unlimited single family mentor. And the class is entitled Tips for Remote Single Family Investors, the Trust But Verify Process Defined. Isaac is going to break down for you how you can live where you want and invest where it makes sense. He lives in Northern California. He owns 0 properties in Northern California. The majority of his properties are in Texas and Oklahoma. He's going to tell you how he did it all, and it's going to help you understand how to become a successful real estate investor. Text free to 88007 to get your free tickets and get on down here to the Expo.
The information and opinions you hear on the Del Walmsley Radio Show are those of the host, Del Walmsley, his guests, and his callers. The Del Walmsley Show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented on the Del Walmsley Show constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.